Mr. Donahue, welcome to Atlanta. Great to see you here.
Great to be back.
Globalization is a term that's bandied around more than ever, particularly now in these election times. How do you define the term, and do you think that globalization generally is good for the U.S. economy?
I think global trade, global investment, global exchange is a very, very important thing for the U.S. economy, and I'll give you some data to back that up. But first let me say, I think we have to get rid of the word globalization, because all of our research shows that it frightens people. Now, if you think about our economy, a third of our investment or more now comes from overseas. A third of what we sell or more is sold overseas. A third of the jobs in this country are created for the purpose of trade, and they are the highest paying jobs we have. And it would be just foolish for us as a country to limit our ability to sell to the 95% of the people in the world that we want to sell something to that don't live here.
Why are people then ambivalent about this word globalization?
They're not ambivalent. They're passionately afraid or angry about it. They've been told by the unions, they've been told by the press, they've been told by their friends that this must be bad. And that spreads around, and it is not bad. It is fundamentally in their advantage. You know, not long ago we were talking to people in Montana, all 12 of them that live there. And, you know, their representative in the Senate, Max Baucus, chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, is a great advocate of trade. And they were beating him up until we went out there and said, okay, can you sell any more wheat in the United States? The answer is no. Can you sell wheat around the world? Of course. Can you sell beef anymore in the United States? Not much. Can you sell it around the world? Of course. People have to see it at home and see in the benefit. You take Atlanta. You've got all kinds of major companies here where lots of people work. And if it weren't for the globalization, bad word, remember, but the global trading system that they're in, they wouldn't be a third of the size they are.
When people are scared of global investment, global trade, the main concern is the loss of jobs, don't you think?
Sure, but you know what? People here in Atlanta are responsible for that concern. You see, if you go to Michigan and New York and Ohio and Pennsylvania, and you talk to those people about the jobs they lost in the heavy manufacturing industry and the collateral industries that weren't there when there wasn't so much heavy manufacturing, they think they went to China. They think they went to India. You know where they went, don't you? They went to Georgia. They went to South Carolina. They went to North Carolina. They went to Texas. They went to Arkansas. They went to California. They went there because of workforce, because of weather, because of quality of life, because of the price of energy, and because they didn't have the entrenched, baked-in unions. We're not talking about the cost of pay and the work rules that made it almost impossible to compete around the globe. So people that are mad often think they're mad about the wrong thing.
Do you think that there are enough retraining programs for those that do lose jobs, whether it's to the South or overseas?
There are enough. They need to be refined and improved, and we probably have to put a little extra money in. One of the problems, however, and we'll come back to your question, there are a lot of workers that could be retrained for some things that we're doing in the states that I told you that we're gaining jobs. They live in Michigan. They don't want to move there. Their families at home. They've got 4 more years to work, 5 more years to work. Although we'd like them to go to work for a long time. If we built nuclear power plants in this country, and we're going to have to do that, we can employ for the rest of their lives every unemployed automobile worker in the world, in the country, not in the world. And these are societal issues. So I'm perfectly willing to retrain people. I'm willing to spend more money than we do. American business spends $60 billion a year training people. But, you know, the programs of the federal government of the United States have to be adjusted to be expanded beyond heavy manufacturing and into other areas, technology and services. But what really is the question is not only the jobs moving overseas, but it's all those jobs that moved south, southwest, and west, because those people at home, that, you know, where the jobs move from, they're looking for work, and we're trying to cover them with Trade-Adjusted Assistance Act, and maybe we ought to be a little more forthcoming in saying, it's not trade. It's the really aggressive Chamber of Commerce of the United States in Atlanta and other places in Georgia that went up there and talked people to move down here. So maybe we have to retrain them for other kind of jobs, not heavy industry. Maybe we have to train them in technology. But you know what the most important thing is? We have to convince them that their children need a sound education and that their grandchildren are never going to be able to work in the kind of jobs they do because they're not here anymore and not even in the South anymore. And we've got to train them to the, and the people, you know, the unions say, well, they're all low-paying jobs. You make more money in high tech, you make more money in healthcare, you make more money in communications, you make more money in all of those than you ever would have working in an automobile plant, but you just got to go out and get the education and the training to do it.